Ready?
Yeah. A bang thing though.
Where's the noise? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast, The Asian Experience, at least for us, where we talk about the Asian experience. The topics we discuss may not apply to you, but they do, at least for us. Welcome back, Serena.
Hi, Leslie.
How are you, my girl?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So we haven't talked, or we haven't filmed an episode in a few weeks, and I just wanted to start off today by catching up with you. So what have you done in the past 2 weeks that we haven't? Um,
Talked?
this audio is crazy right now. Yes, we haven't talked.
Wait, your audio's bad?
No, it's my AirPods. Just keep going.
Okay. Well, I moved to Kingston because my work is no longer remote. So I'm working in the labs, part of that. And today I went on a little bike ride by myself somewhere, cleaned up some garbage.
Oh yes.
It was just it was really nice to like just go somewhere that's naturey and stuff. And yeah, that's what I've been up to. What about you?
Okay. Well, I also went on a bike ride today. What a coincidence, by myself around the neighborhood as a workout. It was great.
Yeah, I know. Biking's
Yeah.
so fun.
I also finally watched Tiger King.
Oh, you
Like I
did?
binged it. Yes, I did. What do you mean? You? What's
Really?
that face? You did?
I've never watched it.
It's really good. It's
I heard it's like I heard it's kind of whack because it's like he's the guy, Tiger King or whatever. He abuses animals or something.
no, it's that's true. There's a lot of animal they talk about animal abuse, they talk about murder conspiracies, they talk about it's literally one of the craziest things I've ever watched in my life. You should definitely watch it because it is so crazy. It is so ridiculous, out of this world. Sometimes I found it so hard to follow along in the story. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is this real? This is a real thing that happened. These are real people.
So who's narrating? Like someone else, third party?
No. There's no narrator. It's just them. It's just the film crew. They're just following the people in the like in the documentary, and
Oh,
it's crazy. It is so insane.
they're getting paid for it, right?
It is such good TV. I know they talk about animal abuse. I know they talk about murder conspiracies. I know they talk about money laundering or whatever, and they talk about drugs and a gay fucking tiger zoo owner. It is so so good.
Really?
Yes, I'm gonna pull up one of my favorite quotes from the series. It says, "Is America ready for the first redneck, gun-toting, mullet-sporting, tiger-tackling, gay polygamist president?"
He's gay?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. The whole point of it is that he's gay. He had like 3 husbands at one point.
Why have 3 wives?
No, the Tiger King, the guy with the long blonde the
Yeah.
mullet, that's Joe Exotic. He's the gay one. He had like 3 husbands at one point. One of them killed himself and they caught it on camera.
Stop.
It wasn't him actually shooting himself in the head. It was the reaction because he walked into their office and somebody was sitting in the office and he like shot himself in the head off camera, but on camera it was one of the people working in the office reacting to it happening.
Bruh, what?
Yes. And he had 3 wives. There's another zoo owner. Sorry, my chair's squeaking. I hate this chair. There's another zoo owner, Doc Antle. He runs another zoo. He also has like long blonde hair. They all have long blonde hair. Carol Baskin has long blonde hair. They all have long blonde hair. He like is he has sex with all of his female coworkers or like his female employees. Don't look at me. And they only get paid $150 a week for 7 days a week of 12-hour days. It's
Really?
crazy.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they're gonna make bank off of this TV show.
Yeah, and they also live on the property. They all live together on the
Oh,
zoo property, I
yeah.
guess. I don't know.
I put it on my watch list. I have so many things I need to watch though. Like,
It's insane, Serena. You need to watch it. I highly recommend Tiger King. This is not sponsored by Netflix, but Netflix, if you want to sponsor us, our email is in our at our channel. Please, we would love a sponsor. Thank you. And we're not just talking about Netflix. Amazon, Jeff Bezos. I know you got billions of dollars. Give us just a fraction, and I will sponsor. I will talk the fucking shit up out of Amazon. Okay, give us some money, and I will give you advertisement. Okay. Anyways, so and also I got my job back.
oh, where?
For the city. I got my summer camps job. Yeah, they're running like a few camps and they just need some extra people. So I
Oh,
am not unemployed.
yeah.
Okay, so Serena, today our topic is, and I want to be very specific because this topic applies to us specifically. So you know that you, the audience, you know the 60 people who watched our last video, thank you very much. Um, and it may not apply to you, but it does at least to, okay. So our topic this week is being the eldest daughter in an Asian family.
Let's get into it.
Yes, and this applies to us because we are both the eldest daughters in an Asian family, as you can tell.
Yeah, obviously. That's why we're talking about it.
Yes. I also want to, what?
You have one brother?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Do you? Oh, you do? Okay, cool. He's 11.
Oh, mine is 18.
Oh, oh, shit. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he's going to Western Ivy.
Western Ivy. Oh, shit.
Got waitlisted for Queens, so
Oh.
I know. It was his top choice. And it would have been
Oh.
so nice having him here because
Yeah.
we could have got the car.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother graduated nothing. He graduated at a grade 5.
Oh my god. That's kind of cool though because like he's so young. Like I feel like I don't know, it's you would have a better relationship.
No.
Do you?
It is the opposite of that, girl. How? I don't connect with him at all.
Oh, I just felt like I don't know. I guess like I always felt like, oh, if I had a really like younger brother, then you know, he'd be just like my baby. He'd be like so squishy and cute. And I can just like I
It's
don't
like
know.
that maybe for the first 2 years.
No, but I'm actually very thankful that like my brother and I are like so close in age because like we have like a lot of stuff in common. Like not boring. We can do stuff together.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh, he's a baby for the first 2 years, and then for the rest of your life, it's like I actually like don't enjoy your presence at all sometimes. It's just we're being honest. This is a podcast about honesty. I'm being honest.
It's the opposite.
Also,
My brother doesn't enjoy my presence.
he doesn't enjoy my presence either. I tease him all the time. I give him so much shit for literally just existing.
Oh my gosh.
internally and externally. Like,
Okay, let's get into the questions.
oh yeah. Also, before we, start, I want to shout out our friend Annie Nguyen. I told her that we were doing this topic for this episode, and she got very excited because she also relates to this
Oh, love her.
very well. So shout out to Annie. I'll put something here. You can follow her on Instagram. I'll put something somewhere. All right. Okay. So I think that for us as eldest, for like as the oldest firstborn, but also being daughters in an Asian family, there's a lot of like pressures put on us. We have very unique and very specific experiences and ways that we were raised and like how we grew up is very specific. And I think we should talk about those things because I think that this would be a very good, like, it's like very cathartic for us to talk about, but also it helps connect other people. And it sort of, and I think it'll explain a lot to people who have known us for a while and have grown up with us. It's sort of like an explanation as to how, like, where our mannerisms come from and our personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So
I'm gonna try to use my podcast voice.
Oh.
Okay, Leslie.
Are you making fun of my deep voice? Sorry, I have a deep
voice.
voice.
I love it. I want like a podcast voice. Okay. Now
it's because I have a baritone quality.
Love it. Okay.
I thought you would laugh at that because you're a music person. Okay. So, I think that we have a very unique relationship with our parents. Oh, she's back. And you start with like growing up. I think that in an Asian family, it's very like some people can deny it, but like I think that there's still this underlying like desire to have boys in the family, to have sons. Do you know what I mean?
No, honestly,
What?
I can relate to that. Yeah, no. But
What do you mean?
I feel like my parents are like really different than, I don't know, other Asian parents. Okay. So like, what's your experience with that?
I think that, I mean, it's not only me, like I've seen it in other families, like in like other parts of my family. I think that, I don't know, I just think that it applies to a lot of Asian daughters who are the oldest ones. I think that a lot of Asian families always wanted to have a boy first, if not first, just at least one. And like, there's this like funny thing, like one of my cousins on I think my dad's side, there's 4 of them in one family. The first 3 are all daughters, and the last one is a boy. And the age gap between the oldest and the youngest one is like 20 years. So it's like, do you see the pattern? It's like sometimes I think it's like they try to have kids until they had a boy. And I'm not trying to like put them on. I'm not airing anybody's dirty laundry, but to me, it's my opinion. That's what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never heard of that stereotype before, or
wanting
like,
sons.
Yeah.
Really?
In families, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I think in China, this whole one child rule thing, I don't know if it exists anymore.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of like I've heard stories of people like on the news or whatever, and they're always like, we want a boy or whatever because if it's a girl, then I can't pass down the family name
Oh,
and something like that's basically what it is. To them,
yeah.
boys can do more, and it's that very like traditional um, viewing of gender roles and stereotypes about having sons versus daughters, and I think it's very prominent in Asian families.
Were you ever
And
like, did your parents ever portray like those, like their biases of like wanting a guy first onto you that made you
I
feel like, I don't know, that they wanted a
I
boy?
think I think it's just something I put in my head. I don't know. I think that um like when I was younger, I didn't live in Mississauga. I've told you this before. I used to live downtown with my relatives, like my grandparents and my aunts and uncles. They were the ones who raised me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
And I would only see my parents on the weekends. I would be
right.
here Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday morning I would be driven downtown and I would live there
Oh,
for the week because
really?
yeah, because my dad had some health issues when I was younger, and my parents couldn't take care of me. Like they couldn't find like a babysitter or anything, and I think they was like the last resort was like I live downtown and have somebody else raise me. And then uh I finally moved back here and lived here like permanently when my mom was pregnant with my brother. So I think there's a lot of resentment there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't get to live in my house until this other little fucking kid comes along.
Man, have you ever like talked to them about it? Like, have you ever asked them like why they sent you to live with
No, I know. I know why. I just don't want to, dive into it.
Oh, okay.
And like my dad had some health issues. You know what? I'll just say it. It's a podcast about honesty. I'm going to talk about I'm going to be honest. Honesty. Um when I was like 4-ish, my dad had heart issues, and then one day he had a heart attack and he had to have like a major surgery,
Oh,
and my mom had to spend most of her time taking care of him and working,
right.
and I think I was just left on the sideline a little bit. I'm not blaming her. Like I understand that, but it was
Yeah.
hard. And I didn't find out about this until like a year ago.
Really? Who told
Yeah.
you?
Oh, they did. Don't
Why?
let's not even talk about hiding secrets. This family is full of secrets.
Yeah, tell me about it. No, but I'm sorry like that happened to you. I also was sent away to China
What?
for 2 years
When?
when my brother was born. Yeah, so when my brother was born for oh shit, you're frozen.
No, I'm not.
Are
My
you
mouth is.
you Oh, okay. But basically when my brother was born, so when I was 2,
Mhm.
like yeah, they sent me to China to live with my grandparents' family for 2 years. And then
Whoa,
until he was
what?
2, and then I came back. But I think it was because, like, they just it was, like, really hard on them.
Yeah.
They just moved here. I don't know when they moved here. I think they moved here in 1999, and then I was born in 2000. I think
Oh,
that's the
okay.
one, but I'm not sure. And, like, back then we were really poor, or not really
Uh-huh.
poor, but poor, I guess,
Mhm.
according to their
Mhm.
standards. So, I guess it was just, like, stressful, so they just sent me to live in China for 2 years.
Whoa, that's crazy. I just imagine them throwing a 2-year-old baby in a long haul flight by herself. She's sitting there like this.
Yeah, I have no idea how they like sent me away. I don't, but I like I don't feel like um I don't know. I never really thought of it as like the son versus like daughter kind of thing. I just thought it was just because like, you know, it's just having two kids like right away is like stressful. So, and we didn't have any family here in Canada. So,
Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of resentment about this like kind of thing, but because I can see, because I live here, and I I s- I can I can just see the relationship that my parents have with him, and it's a
oh,
lot more, it's not as disconnected as the relationship I have with them. Because I didn't live here full time for like the first whatever fucking 7, 8 years of my life. I didn't move here until permanently until I was 8.
wait, really?
Yeah, I didn't live in Mississauga permanently until I was 8. I started going to
Oh,
school here in grade 3,
that's hard.
and it is like uh I don't know. I also moved around a lot when I lived in Toronto. Like uh my grandparents took care of me first. I lived with them, and then after my grandfather passed away, I had to move in with me and my grandma had to move in with my aunt and uncle and my cousins. So there was like 6 of us living in one house. And then there was one summer where I moved to another aunt and uncle's house in Brampton. I lived there for a summer. And then that was the summer my mom found out she was pregnant. So after that summer was over, I moved back here, and then I started uh, grade 3.
That's hard, especially
So,
when
yeah,
you're really old. Like I remember stuff from grade 3, like grade 2 and grade 3. So
yeah,
that must be hard because like 8 years of your life, like not being with your parents until they are pregnant, like that's kind of whack.
yeah. I don't know. I think that I mean, I don't know. It was really hard because I was also jealous of my cousins because I lived with my cousins and they were all living with their parents. And I was
Yeah.
like, why can't I do the same thing? I mean, obviously I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know about the whole health issue thing until like a year ago.
But did his heart issue
I'm almost fucking 20 years old. And this happened when I was like 4 years old. This is
did his heart
15 years ago.
did his heart issues stop like when she was pregnant?
No, it was like over a 2-year period, like when he was 4. No. When I was 4, when I was 4, he started having like the problems. And then I
Yeah.
think when I was 5, he had a heart attack at
Yeah.
work.
Oh man.
And then that's when he had the surgery, and then he was like all better when I was like 6, and that's when everything was sort of fine. And then 2 years later, she was pregnant.
Yeah, that is really strange. And like I feel like that like them just kind of like pushing you to the side that would like lead up and especially just putting like telling you all of this yet like last year that doesn't really make any sense to me and I get how you might like resent them a little bit for it and or like have like a lot of build up I guess like anger and bitterness
Um,
towards your
I wouldn't.
or
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, bitterness, anger, confusion. I I don't know. Like,
like
it's
the
just
feeling that you're not good enough.
I, it's just I just like don't like being kept in the dark about things. I'm not a child. You can like tell me things, and ew, communication. Who's that? I don't know who she is. It's never been a thing, and like it's like very rare in Asian families where people like communicate.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sorry you have to deal with that, like, still, and you're probably
Still dealing with it.
yeah, with the
Like,
consequences.
I didn't know, like, I found out a year ago that he was like that stuff happened, and then, like, 2 months ago, I found out, like, a timeline. 2 months ago. I'm turning 20 in October. I found it 2 months ago. Like, I was looking through old pictures, like,
Yeah.
baby pictures, um, and, like, their old wedding photos, and there was, like, one picture, it was at, like, a dinner I had for my, like, 6th birthday,
Yeah.
and then there was a picture of my dad holding me when I was, like, 2 years old, and then it was, like, you could see his, like, health and, like, body shape change so drastically over those, like, 4 years. Like, when I was, like, 2 or 3, he was, like, really big, like like, fat big, and then when the heart attack or after the surgery happened, he was like a stick, and I saw pictures of him, and I didn't even realize. I like, when I was a kid, I don't even remember that happening. I wasn't aware of it.
Right.
I don't even remember anything.
Yeah, no, like, I feel like communication is definitely a big problem in Asian families, and I've been, like, I myself have, like, problems with communicating with my parents and, like, expressing my emotions, like, sometimes I
Mhm.
don't wanna cry in front of them.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but, like,
Yeah.
I just have to it's kinda like pride, I feel like, but I just have to, like,
Yeah.
really push myself and, like, do and, like, talk to my friends to, like, encourage me to, like, talk to my parents. And, like, every time that I've, like, talked to them, it always, like, ended up going, like, well, most of the time it ended up, like, going well, and, like, because they don't understand how I feel or, like, how you may
Yeah.
like, because they don't understand, like, the impact of their words sometimes or, like, their lack of emotion,
Mhm.
um, until, like, you tell them, right? So, like, recently, like, me and my dad, like, got in a fight. It wasn't really a
Mhm.
fight, it was more like I was angry, but he didn't
Yeah.
even know that I was angry,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I just, like finally, like, got the courage to, like, talk to him about it, and, he, like, apologized, and he was like, "Oh, like, I'm sorry
Whoa.
I made you feel that way, like, that's just the way I am, like, blah, 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 but I'll try to do better." Because, like, I said something that, like, may have gotten to him, because I was like, because basically, like, his love language is different from mine, which is, I guess, like,
Mhm.
communication. And his, I think, is like acts of service. So I was just saying how, like, if you could, like, communicate better to me, rather than just, like, I don't know, like, doing the chores or whatever, like, that would make me feel more loved or whatever. And he was like,
Yeah.
I'll try to do better. And, like, after that he did. So I was, like, really happy, and I think, like, that proved to me that you always got to communicate, even, like, with your parents. Like, that's how you make the relationship work better. Because if I didn't communicate, like, with my mom so many times, like, I would still have a really poor relationship with her, which I had for, like, 18 years. I had a really
Yeah.
bad relationship with my mom, like, I know you know. But um yeah, like, I communicated with her a lot, and, like, we had a huge fight, like, I think last year. And then yeah, I don't know, I just, like, swallowed my pride, like, apologized. She told me some stuff, and she was like, you know what she said, actually? This is relating back to the secrets thing. She's like, she basically said, like, that my dad did something, and I'm not gonna tell you what it is until I die. And I was like,
This shit is so vague and so, like, it's, like, specific and vague at the same time. You're like, what the fuck does any of this mean?
yeah. And I was like, just tell me now. And she was like, no, I'm going to take it to my grave. No, she was like, I'm going to keep it inside of me, but I'll make sure I'll tell you before I die. And I was like, are you joking me? But I feel like I know what it is, but I don't know. But I don't think, like, it would change my opinion. anyways, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I think the lack of communication, um, and I think also like shame in doing things wrong or asking for help. I think I have a huge problem with that. And I don't know if you do. Like, those things we were raised with, and I think it spills out into our other relationships, like with our friends and, like people we work with, teachers, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's very common in Asian families to, if something wrong was done or if there's a fight, there's no like formal apology. It's
Yeah.
not like in kindergarten when you like spill paint on a kid and the teacher's like, please say sorry. And you're like, I'm sorry. And then the other kid goes, that's okay, or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Usually it's just
you fight, and then it's about 4 days of silence. 4 days of silence. And then on the fifth day, all of a sudden, you start talking again. Like nothing happened.
that's so true. I didn't like it's so weird how it's like a common thing between all like Asian.
Everybody.
I feel like it's a little different for me because like I'm usually the one who will be like, I'm sorry. Like I'll swallow my pride. I'll be like, I'm
Nope.
sorry.
Can't do that.
Or like
Swallowing
with
my pride? Who? I don't know what that is.
with my dad, I'll like we had a like we're like still pretty close, but we were really close like during the 18 years where like, you know, I hated my mom. um so like whenever like he hurt me, I'd be like, Dad, like you really like made me feel like small or blah 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 blah, and then he'll be like, oh, like I'm so sorry, blah blah. But then there's other times where he won't apologize, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
mix.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think that. Okay, I lost my train of thought. I fully lost my train of thought. I just like, how like when. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about. Our parents put like it's like a very long laundry list of like expectations on us, especially as girls. I don't know. I mean, you don't know what the difference is, but like it's like for girls, it's like, especially because we're the oldest and we have to do this and this and this. Examples include uh, going to university, getting a degree, getting a job, a nice job that pays well, that is really well paying, but you shouldn't spend more than maybe 4 years at school for, which is kind of hard these days. Um, it's got to be easy, even though I don't care what program you're in. University is difficult, period.
Yeah.
It's difficult, period. But you also have to quickly get married and, right out of university, but you can't date in university. You got to be celibate. You can look at somebody in the eye and think they're attractive, and then the moment you graduate, you gotta find a man, I don't care where, get married, move in together. Don't get a dog because then they can't come and visit because they're all allergic. Every Asian parent is allergic to pets for some reason. All of them. All of them. And then you got to get a nice house and you got to live no more than 30 minutes away from them. You got to have a kid, at least one, at least two, at least three. It's gotta be, if it's 3 boys, no. If it's 3 girls, no. If it's a mixture, perfect. And then you gotta give them all your money, so that they can retire and they can live in a house, and you give them all their money. You give them, you buy them the house, you buy them a car, and then when they die, I don't know what's left. Oh,
Well, your list of expectations is quite a lot. Mine is that like your parents like? Sorry, let me just fill up my water bottle.
Yeah, let's wait for Serena to wash her dishes.
No, I'm filling my water bottle.
Like that's like a very typical. Well, okay, let's narrow it down.
Wait, so is that like actually what your parents like expect of you?
Yes, but that was like the funny long version. I'll make it more specific. It's
Sure.
go to university to get a degree, then you get a job that pays really well, then you got to get married and have kids, then you got to take care of your parents financially until they, pass on. And then that's the end of your life because, you're just miserable at the end. I'm kidding.
My parents
Is that yours?
No, my parents don't expect me to take care of them, which is nice.
What? This is so crazy.
Yeah, I'm like very different. Well, kind of similar, but kind of different because like they know like I'm not. Cause okay, so like growing up, I wasn't like always the most obedient kid.
Same here.
And I always talked back.
Yep.
Yeah, I always talk back, and my mom's always like, if we were in China, like this would not be allowed. Like, you were allowed to talk back to your parents, like all that stuff. And she was like, "Don't worry, like you don't have to send me to a retirement home. I don't expect you to take care of me when we're old." And I'm like, "Okay, great." And they're like, they want to work, so like they literally are like, yeah, we want to work right now. Well, my mom is like, yeah, like she always says like, oh, I wish like we had money to like buy another house. So then like when we retire, your brother can have one house and you can have the other house. And I'm like, obviously that's not going to happen. But, anyways, they say like, cause my cousin, like she borrowed money to go to like school in the USA. Like she goes to Stanford Law right now, and then she went to Columbia for her undergrad. So she's like epitome of like good Asian kid. And she borrowed like all that money from her dad, so my uncle, and now she has like a good paying job for the judge that like, was like involved with the Ford case, like the Ford cars case. I don't know if you.
No.
Okay, well, anyways.
Ford versus Ferrari? That movie?
No. Like a lawsuit or something. I don't know, but basically.
Faulty airbags.
Oh, really?
It's probably that.
But she makes a lot of money, and so does her husband. Like he makes so much because he's like the CEO of some startup or whatever. And my uncle always tells me how she has not paid him back. And like it doesn't like. He's always like, it's whatever. So, like,
Columbia and Stanford, that's crazy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, it's kind of blurry lines with money, for me, because I'm like, what do I have to pay for? They don't really tell me. I'm like, should I pay for my tuition? Should I pay for my rent? And it's just kind of like, they're like, you do what you can, and I'm like, okay, but what if I don't want to do it? And like they won't give me a straight answer. So I mean, obviously,
I don't want to pay rent.
I feel guilty that I'm spending their money, but at the same time, my brother literally spends way more than me from like my parents' money. So I don't know. But I feel like the whole thing about like getting like, yeah, I'm not allowed. Like I have to go to university. Obviously, that's like standard, and I have to get married. But I wasn't allowed to date in high school.
Yeah.
Not that I dated anyone anyways. Yeah. But I'm allowed to date now. Like, in fact, my mom's always like, so do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a boyfriend now? Whereas in high school, she was like, you better not have a boyfriend, Serena. Like, you have to study and get into university. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to take a gap year or anything because like they didn't know what it was. And even when I tried explaining it to them, they didn't get it, and they just thought like it would taint my chances of getting to university. But it's it's not that big of a deal. Like getting into university is not hard, even though they think it is. And also, I don't know if I want kids. So I told that to them, and they were like,
Oh,
"What?" And I
you're
was,
brave, girl.
they're they're like, "Oh, you'll change your mind," and I'm like, we'll see.
I haven't said anything. I don't
Yeah,
tell
I'm
them
like,
anything about myself, period. And you would know that. Yeah. The marriage and kids thing is um hmm, I don't know. I think that's sort of like you and I have very similar ways of thinking about like our future and stuff. It's like marriage and kids has never really been a priority for us, I guess. Well, I don't know about you, but it's
yeah,
like I'd rather focus on a career, and if that sacrifices those two things, then I think I'm okay with that. Because I think that we know that we are worth more than just that. I know
yeah,
there's plenty of people out there who balance a very successful career and a marriage and kids.
yeah,
We just don't feel like doing that.
yeah.
You know?
I think I don't know if I want to get married just because I think like marriage ruins everything. But I like the idea of it and like how it's portrayed in like movies and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
happily ever after, yeah, like I'll get married if I like find the right guy or whatever. But you
Yeah, it's always find the right person. Find the right person. I don't
but
there's a right person for you on your block.
yeah, I just don't know if like I feel like marriage just kind of like ends up making the couple like stop trying. So I don't know if like I would want to be like I don't want that to happen to me. So like like maybe I'll have like a really like long-term boyfriend, but like we just won't get married.
Oh, common law marriage.
Oh yeah.
Yes, common law marriage. If you spend more than 10 years with the person and you live at the same address for 10 years, it's considered a common law marriage.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. And like, oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Um, yeah, my mom, she wanted me to like not act. She didn't want me to go into engineering because she was like, well, that's a guy's job.
Okay.
And I was like, what? No. And she was like, you should go into business. Like, you don't have to do anything.
That's for all you business majors out there. You don't do anything, period.
She was like, just marry a rich person and like, just do relaxing work. Like, and I'm like,
Like
fuck.
what? Being a yoga teacher's relaxing work.
Yeah.
You could do anything. I can do that on the side of my job.
Yeah. But
Listen.
she's proud of me, like, for doing, for like, I don't know, everything that
Yeah.
I've done in engineering. It was just like a passing comment.
Why marry a rich man when you can be the rich man, rich woman?
Exactly. Yeah, like that TikTok.
Hello? What?
Like that TikTok. It's like, oh, when you grow up, you should marry a rich man. And I said, Mom, I am rich.
I'm the rich man. Oh, yes.
I don't even have TikTok.
I don't either. TikTok, if you want to sponsor us. Yeah. I just, I don't think that, like, I keep telling myself, maybe in the future, somebody's there waiting for you.
Yeah.
And, like, well, I don't really feel like having kids.
Girl,
It's
me.
9 months of getting fat
Oh,
and
I'm
angry.
definitely not getting pregnant. Like, I'm 100% sure about that. I'm never getting pregnant.
I feel the same way.
I cannot. Like, I will adopt because, first of all, overpopulation. Second of all, I would carry someone in my body for 9 months and then have to, like,
and the complications with childbirth are endless.
You will literally ruin my life for 9 months. my god, it literally stresses me out.
It's the miracle of life, Serena.
Yeah, but you know, like I do like the idea of like kids as well. So
Yeah, I'm not like if I change like these aren't permanent thoughts. Maybe in 20 years I'll change my mind. But for
yeah,
right now, I'm single. I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm obviously in the wrong place to find anybody for myself. The school I go to is definitely not the place I want to find anybody. Serena, you know what I'm talking about. and um and like I just I think that I've experienced so much trauma, like emotional trauma in high school and middle school with like crushes and like people. I'm also just normally socially awkward. I can't see myself being married in the future. I don't fucking want
first of all, you're
it.
not so awkward. And second of all, I don't know, like I feel like I believe in fate and I believe in like multiple soulmates. So like whether that be like your
Yeah.
friend or like your like a guy or a girl, um, or another like gender.
Hey, yes, we don't discriminate here. If you're a male, you're a female, you don't gender queer, non-binary, whatever. We are happy pride, everybody. Also happy pride.
Yes.
We are
Um,
accepting.
yeah, so I believe in soulmates. So I believe like, you know, when the time comes, they will come. And yeah, I don't know. That's what I believe. My relationship with my brother, it's actually good now.
Hmm.
Like we weren't as close in when I was in high school, and then I think like after I went to university, like we got closer, especially
Hmm.
summer after first year university. Like I made him join like the frisbee team in the summer with
Oh
me
yeah.
and like a bunch of my friends that are like my age.
Yeah,
So
Serena's a frisbee god, by the way.
not a but it was really fun because like he got to see me like hang out with like my friends, you know, like
Hmm.
how I am with my friends and stuff, and like I got to see him interact with my friends, and it was just nice because like we got to spend like time together,
Hmm.
and yeah, like I made him talk to me because he is the opposite of me. He doesn't talk.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't, I don't know, he just is so silent, but he's actually like when he does speak it's like intelligent and it's like he's kind of funny. So he's kind of like the sports guy that's like silent because he plays like all sports. He tunes into TSN every day to check up on stats. He
Oh.
knows all the players for every single sport, even if he doesn't play it. Like golf, soccer. Oh wait, he does play soccer, but basketball, like so many. And
Love
then
it.
so yeah, after that we got close. And then politically, I feel like there's like some differences just because I
Hmm.
feel like he's more neutral and I'm more like
Yeah.
passionate about like more passionate about like certain things.
Hmm.
And I tend to like let that get in the way like in our art in like conversations and stuff, especially
Hmm.
I like to talk about it a lot. He gets annoyed and he's like, Serena, stop talking, which annoys me. But like we kind of had a fight before I left. Well, not before I left, maybe like 2 days before. And
Hmm.
like I went to his room, I apologized right away. Like old me wouldn't have done it, but
Hmm.
new me was like, you know, pray to God, swallow your pride, go talk to him. So talk to him and like we like talked for I think 2 hours or something, and he cried, which I've never like
Oh.
he cried because of me because something like I said it was bad. So I
Wow.
was like just like feeling like really like shitty, and anyways like we talked it over and like it was good. Like we made up and like I'm glad we talked it over, and it's just communication honestly. So
Wow.
that helped me improve like our relationship. What about you?
he's not mature at all.
Oh, because he's
I
11.
feel, well,
Oh,
yeah.
my brother was the most annoying shit, like, when he was younger.
He, I don't know.
He
The
gets
only
better.
conversations I have with him are about sports and what he wants for his birthday, and that's about it. Like, there's really no connection, and I think that growing up like that, it's made me very, like, lonesome, but also it has forced me to be independent
Yeah.
when it comes to just doing things. Like, we have such a huge, we have, like, what, almost 9 years apart, which is, I know, crazy for some people, and and also, like, there's a lot of differences between us, so I don't, you know, I still love him all the same because he's my brother, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of, I resent him for a lot of things, and I think that um it's because of the way my parents, like, the difference between the way my parents treat him and the way they treat me and the relationship we have with each other. And I think this ties into those traditional roles of a daughter, or the whole, like, daughter versus son thing. And, like when I was younger, in middle school and high school, I begged my parents to play sports outside of school. I begged them to put me in three things. It was three things. It was basketball, softball, and rugby. Those were the three things I asked for, and I never got them. Never. I was only able to play sports in school. So, like, in middle school, I did, like, everything. I did flag football, basketball,
Yeah.
soccer, softball, and, like, and I did swimming when I was younger. Um, and those were, like, the only things that I was allowed to do. And I did, like, piano and guitar. And, like, and with him, it's like whenever he asks to play a sport, they will put him into it. Or they will come up with ideas for him to play sports and they'll just throw him in.
Like,
And
outside
I'm
of
like, yeah, like, outside of school at the community center. Like, he did basketball in, like, from, like, September to December, and he wants to play volleyball now. So they want to put him into, like, a volleyball class at the community center when everything opens up. And he does swimming. He's just waiting to do his, like, bronze medallion or whatever, but he's too young. Um so, like, it's a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to play sports. Like,
Yeah, that's not fair.
it isn't fair. And every time I asked them, the only excuse they came up, well, there's two excuses. One, it's too expensive, and two, we don't want you getting hurt. Those are the two things. Every time. Too
That's so hard.
expensive, and we don't want you to get hurt. Because I mean, I understand the rugby thing. I was like, I want to play rugby, and they're like, you're gonna die. You're gonna get tackled to the ground and die. And I was like, okay, fine. What about basketball?
Yeah.
Basketball is great. They're like, no, you're gonna twist your ankle. You're gonna break your ankle. I was like, okay, fine. How about softball? There's no contact. I am hitting the ball with a stick and I'm running to a base. And they're like, no, you're gonna fall and hit your head. Girl,
Well, maybe,
shit.
like, not to defend them. That's a really, like, that's a horrible way to, I don't know, grow up, especially, like, if you have such a strong passion for sports. Because, like, honestly, I feel like sports can, like, literally, like, change your life because it's, I don't know, it teaches you so much, like, about teamwork and,
Yeah.
like, individuality and just, like, discipline. Maybe, like, they, because you guys are so many years apart, like, maybe they change their views on sports or something, and, like, I don't know.
I don't believe it. I don't think so. I think that if me and him were twins, if we were twins, like, if we were born at the same time, this would it would still be happening.
Yeah.
It's my opinion. I mean, it's my opinion. I think that's what it is. I mean, it's too late to ask now. If I want to play an organized sport, I gotta go do it myself. But it's a lot of, like you said before, anger and confusion and uh, a jealousy, resentment, bitterness, and I carry those emotional burdens with me every day. I think about them all the time. Every time we talk, I always think about, you robbed me. I was robbed. I was burglarized of of like a of an extracurricular like childhood. But I think that's why I started going towards arts things, and that's why I ended up going to an art school where I met you. Woo! We're going to talk about that in another episode. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I would feel that same resentment like if I were you.
And I don't know. It's like this. They always wanted me to focus on school and not do other things. And you know, I can do more than one thing.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want you to like I was like shoved in a corner.
Yeah, especially if like, they believe that your brother can balance that and not you. And like I guess never apologized for it. That's
I don't
really.
think they realize it.
Oh yeah, they definitely don't. I think you should talk to them about it. Like even though it's like,
Too
years.
late.
Yeah, it's too late, obviously. But I think like getting some closure on like why they never put you in sports, even if it was to admit that they were wrong to not put you in sports, or like just for them to like realize that what they did hurt you, I feel like that would really like come a long way to kind of like for your healing. Because like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just like if you talk about it with them, like being like, "Hey, mom and dad, like, can I ask you something?" And then they're like, "Yeah, sure. What?" And you just say like, "How come like you put my brother in sports, but like not me? Like, did you guys not think like I could do it because I was a girl or something like that, or like what was your reasoning?" Because it really hurt me, and it still hurts me today to see like my brother get to do stuff that I was not allowed to because of you guys.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. The one thing I'm scared of is them giving me the same answer again.
What
Is
was
that
that?
we didn't have we didn't, it's too much, too expensive. We didn't want to see you getting hurt and you needed to focus on school. And I was like, I asked you these things when he was alive, like he was in the world. Like I didn't ask
Yeah.
them to play. I didn't ask for like I asked for them to put me in, was it like basketball in middle school, and he was alive outside of the body. He
Yeah.
wasn't a thought. He wasn't like a fetus.
Well, like if they say like, oh, we didn't have enough money, or we didn't want you to like see you get hurt, or the other reason, you can just be like, well, like why didn't you feel the same way about my brother? Because like just like say that, and then like I don't know, see where it goes. It just like
A lot of like unresolved things.
make sure you like mention about like how that made you feel, because like you can say like even if we didn't have enough money at the time, like you could have helped me enroll in like community sports that are like free, like drop-in stuff, because like I feel like it like really hurts you that you didn't get to pursue like stuff that you're passionate about, and like sports teach you discipline, teaches you teamwork, and just like so many things that you could have been better at as if you were enrolled in sports.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I do have a question for you. When you were younger, or like really also now, were you like ever given like did your parents ever force the responsibility on you to raise and take care of your younger brother? That's our next point.
Like, not really, because because he's only 2 years younger than me, right? So
Yeah.
and I also don't really remember like anything before grade 3.
Okay. You also didn't know him the first 2 years that he was alive.
Yeah,
You were in a different
exactly.
country.
So I don't, but like I kind of just did it like naturally because like I feel like I always saw that like my dad was doing like the chores around the house, so I wanted to help him kind of like alleviate like that stress from him. So I would be like
Mm-hmm.
doing dishes like one day, but like obviously I don't want to do it every day because I was still little. So I would like yell at my brother to do it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he wouldn't when he was younger, like around I guess like still in his teen years, he wouldn't do anything around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was just me, which is like kind of hard, and I would get mad at him for that.
Yeah.
It was just his immaturity. Like he didn't realize. I guess like he didn't realize how much effort and like time and money that my parents like spend and like what they do for us, and he kind of just
Mm-hmm.
like me, I took it all for granted like when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and he took it obviously for granted, but it was just because I realized it that when I so that
Yeah,
when I
you're
realized
hyper aware of those things now, and you want to like belittle him because it's like you're not doing anything, but I'm doing it.
yeah, and also
Superior.
yeah, I just want him to like come to his like maturity faster, but obviously like guys mature later than girls too, right? So, but like
Facts.
now he like realized it, and like he always like when I came back for the beginning of the summer, like
Mm-hmm.
we just switched days doing dishes and stuff, and like he wasn't as bitchy about like who gets the car, and he's just like more responsible.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it just comes with age. Like,
Yeah.
what about you? I'm guessing you have to because like he's so much younger.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's more common with in families when there's like a huge age gap
Yeah.
between the two kids or however many kids. And like I don't know. I think I'm over analyzing it, but like here just follow me for a second.
Oh,
Okay. I I they put okay. They put their like responsibility on me to like teach him how to like help him with homework and stuff. And that was particularly hard because it started in high school. Like when I was in high school is when he started kindergarten or
oh,
like before that. And like I was like I'm under a lot of stress right now. Like,
yeah,
in high school, we did a lot of things, and we usually didn't have time for other things. And so, not only did I have to do my schoolwork and do all this extracurricular stuff, but I also have to spend like more time trying to teach him how to, write out the alphabet. What am I doing here? And
yeah.
like,
It's hard to teach little kids stuff too.
I know it's like my responsibility. Like you should be like they always told me like be the be the a good older sister, teach him how to do this stuff.
I get that too.
Be a good older sister. I'm like I'm trying to be a good daughter right now. I'm trying to be a good person, a good student right now. I'm trying to help myself. I'm like falling behind right now in class, and I'm trying to. You're making me look over how he, how neatly he wrote his ABCs.
Yeah.
I and it was just hard because it's like if he failed at something or if he didn't, like, if the mark he got back wasn't great, it's my fault.
Really?
Yes,
That's
even
so
now, even now, if he gets a bad mark, or like, I mean, not so much now, but like a few years ago when he was like second or third grade, if he got like a test, what?
those grades don't even matter also. Like
I can't hear you.
Oh, those grades don't even matter.
I know, but to them it does. You know, Asian parents love to look at numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, I don't know. My parents didn't really give a shit about my grades until grade 12.
Okay.
So, like, gave me more independence.
That's complete opposite for me. They gave a shit about my grades, and then in high school they stopped asking.
Wow.
I can't hear you, Serena.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. What about now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Um,
There's like a fucking windstorm going through her room right now.
oh, it's just my fan because,
I
like,
know.
my was hard to
Yeah.
topple.
Like I got blamed for everything. And it was really tough on like I mean me, my mental health. I'm like
Oh,
I'm
that's
fucking being
fair.
told every day that I'm I'm the reason that he's not smart or not getting a 90 or whatever the fuck he's doing. I'm the reason he can't, you know, name the fucking colors in the rainbow. What? I mean, I didn't realize it obviously because it's like, oh, okay, I should be doing it, whatever, whatever. But now I realize I'm like, that's not my problem. It's
Yeah.
part, I mean, it is my problem, but it's also not my problem
Yeah.
because there's another excuse that they love to use was like, if we knew how to teach him, we would do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, um, if I don't know if you see this here, but I am gone about 12, 13 hours of the day away from my house, from home. You expect me to come back at 7 p.m. when I've been gone for 12 hours? I'm supposed to do my homework, shower, try and, take a break, but also I have to spend an hour teaching him how to spell the word different. What?
Yeah, that's
Come
so
on.
that's so stressful.
I just, and like, I had to teach him how to say please and thank you. And it wasn't until like 3 years ago that I taught him how to say please and thank you. I didn't even realize that he didn't have fucking manners.
Yeah, that's another thing. Our parents don't teach us about. Well, actually, like they
Manners.
do, but like not really.
I didn't know that I didn't realize that I didn't say please and thank you until I was in high school. And I'm like, I had to teach myself, I had to build a habit in myself to say please and thank you.
Yeah.
Because, okay, back to my point, they didn't have to raise me, because there's a difference between keeping your kid alive and raising them.
Yeah.
And I think they've kept me alive. They kept
Yeah.
me alive for 18 years. They still
Yeah.
are. I live in the house, so they're keeping me alive. They give me electricity, Wi-Fi, water, food,
Mhm.
money. They're keeping me alive. But I
I
don't
think
think they raised me.
yeah, a good excuse that like my mom used to use on me is like, um, oh, like I feed you, like I drive you to places, like I don't have to do that. Like you should be grateful and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I
Like
like I
we had to
realized
raise ourselves.
and I realized that now they did like sacrifice a lot
Hmm.
and they didn't have to cook me food every day or like drive me to places because like I didn't realize that before until like I talked to like other people about their families and they were like, yeah, like I had to bus to some practice that I have like 6 times a week. Um,
Hmm.
or I have to like cook myself. So like that's when I kind of realized like, oh, like I guess my parents didn't have like they didn't have to do it, but I always thought that you had to do that and you had to like talk to their kid and like ask them how their day was going and all that stuff. But I think it's just the way that TV was portrayed. Like, oh, a parent cooks for you, a
Yeah.
care like asks you about your day and like does it's just like a
Yeah.
perfect all around parent when in reality it's not like that and like
Yeah, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, exactly. But I wish I could I wish I could relate to like how you're feeling, because I feel like we have really different like lives growing up.
Yeah. I mean, we had similar circumstances.
Yeah,
Weirdly similar circumstances, but you know,
yeah,
I think
just like
we live out life currently, or like our relationships with our parents are very similar.
yeah, no, like um I feel like when I had a bad relationship with my mom, she would or this was during our fight, she would say like WeChat, right?
Yeah.
She would
Yes.
say, "Oh, like people always like say like, oh, like you're such a bad mom or something because like your kid isn't like in IB, or like she's in an art school or stuff like that. So like,
Yeah.
like you not succeeding like makes looks bad on me as well, and I face like other pressures from other parents." And I was just like, oh, like I
Asian
guess,
parents are monsters
yeah, they like
sometimes.
judge a lot. They judge a lot, and
Yeah.
I feel like there's I don't know. I just don't feel like you should be comparing like your kids to other kids and like talking to other parents about it.
Yeah. Fucking worry about your own goddamn kids.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like the pressure of your brother doing well is like from your parents is like partially due to like other parents bragging about their kids all the time.
Or it's because in my family, me and like three other cousins who were really close growing up, it's like because we're all in university and like doing our own thing now. They all went like very like straightforward paths, and like
Yeah.
I fucking did a theater program for a week at Ryerson,
Yeah.
and then I dropped out, and then I switched schools,
Yeah.
and like
Honestly, that's like really surprising to me, that because like I think that's a really brave thing for you to do, because I feel like my parents would not they would not allow me to do that.
my parents were never like tiger parents. They're like, you have to do this. That's what I thought they wanted. And then
Yeah.
I told them about that whole like about like going into theater. They're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But they always were like, you're gonna regret it. And I did. Yeah, I don't know. I think that what was the fucking topic? What were we talking about?
Our relationship with our brothers.
Oh, and like, yeah, I just have a lot of resentment. That's the gist of it. I mean, it's internal. I don't talk about it because Asian families don't talk about shit.
You're
We're
talking
talking about money. What?
you're talking about it right now.
I know, but I'm talking to it about you, and you're like the first person I've actually like fully, like full out talked about with this.
Mhm.
Besides Fahad, but you're like the one. You're like the one person because I know you understand more than most people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just, yeah. I wanna run away. Sometimes I just want to run away and just
I feel you. There was times that I was like, I'm going to run away.
with my backpack full of 3 change of clothes and $20 in my wallet.
Um,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I just,
Next topic.
yes. Yes. Uh oh, what was the next topic? Fuck.
Mm,
Oh, our natural rebellion against our parents. LOL. That's what I wrote in the note.
you wanna go first?
Yeah. I talk back to them a lot, and I still do.
Mhm.
And people are like, "You're Asians." I mean, only white people talk back to their parents. Absolutely not true.
Yeah.
I talk back to them my whole life because I think that I've always felt like very attacked by them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not somebody who takes it and just bottles it up and just ignores it. I have to confront it, and I have to go, hi, you need to stop yelling at me right now, and I'm going to tell you why, because this is how I feel. And usually when we yell at each other and we have an argument, I'm not listening to them, usually, because that's how arguments work. You just yell your point at that person until they like shut up or stop, or like they're like fine, or like whatever. But I talk back to them. Like, I'm obviously, it's not the best thing to do, I'll tell you that right now. Don't talk back to your parents, but I think we have a similar reasoning as to why we did it, and it was because I don't like people telling me I'm wrong or telling me I did something that they didn't like, because I fucking like doing whatever. Like, what would they yell at me for? There's a lot of things they yelled at me for. And it's like, I mean, it was like normal stereotypical things. Like, why don't you pick up all your fucking hair off the floor? Like, my hair falls out a lot.
Yes. I get that too. And I'm like, I can't help it that my hair is shedding.
Literally, I'm like a dog. It's everywhere all the time.
Me too.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't fucking see one strand of hair on the floor that's the same, almost the same. I'm not on my hands and knees microscope. Like, and it's just hard, because I know some of the things that they yell at us for are like things that they did, but we're getting blamed for it. Like, sometimes she'll yell, like, people will, like, they'll yell at me out of nowhere. It's usually my mom. 99% of the time it's my mom. And she'll yell at me out of nowhere. Like, she'll come back home from work, and like, I've washed the dishes that I used that were dirty. I picked up the hair off the floor in the bathroom, at least. Okay, all the dishes are put away, and I'm just in my room minding my own business. And then she's like, why the fuck did you do this? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you call this person? Why didn't you take this out of the freezer or whatever? I'm like, I forgot. It's a normal thing. I forgot. I'm sorry. And you're like, you're useless, and why the hell did you forget? And then sometimes she'll be like, why didn't you take the meat out of the freezer? I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, why didn't you take the meat out of the freezer? I'm like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe because you didn't tell me. Yeah. And she's like, you should have known. I'm like,
oh.
What do you mean? What do you mean I should have known? I didn't know you were cooking chicken tonight. What the fuck?
Okay, sorry. I really need to go pee, so I'll be right back in 1 minute, and I'll respond to
Okay. Anyways, here's a note from our not sponsor. I'm just kidding. If anybody wants to sponsor us, please email us at theaznexperience@gmail.com. We will respond to you as soon as we can. Maybe not as fast as you would like, because Serena and myself are two very busy working women who are currently working full-time jobs-ish, summer jobs, whatever. But we'll try and respond to you as fast as we can. We would love a sponsor. Also, if anybody knows how to get our podcasts on Spotify and iTunes, please leave a comment below. We would greatly appreciate the advice. And yeah.
So I just wanted to add, like, I feel like we're both really strong opinionated, and like,
yes.
So I feel like that definitely plays a factor in talking back, because my brother doesn't talk back. So for 18 years, also me and my mom didn't have the best relationship for 18 years. And so like, it was very obvious that like she favored him because he did not talk back. And also like we had a bad relationship. So yeah. And It's funny because, like, my brother's like, yeah, our parents, like, our family only fights when I'm back. Like, it's peace and quiet when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I feel like, but we still have, like, a better relationship now.
Yeah.
So it's just because, like, sometimes they just say such stupid stuff. And I'm like, I can't, like, I don't take it. It's just, I'm not, like, disrespectful to them. I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just tell them how I feel. For example,
It's like, I can't stand here and have you insult me, basically.
yeah, like, I don't know, in grade 12, like, my dad all of a sudden, like, became really onto me about grades, and I was like, where did this come from? And so did my mom. And I was like, back off. Like, I've been doing this by myself for 17 years. Like, I've been getting good grades by myself without your pressure. So no need to pressure me now because it's just stressing me out. And they're like, oh, okay. But yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Let me tell you this. I am definitely not the favorite child, and there's clearly a favorite child in this family, and it's not me.
that sucks, especially if it's like both your parents show favoritism towards your brother.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's because they have a better relationship with him. I've always been the person who talks back, doesn't listen to them, likes to go off, run around, do my own thing, go crazy, go stupid, go dumb and fucking idiotic.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, I don't think they ever expected me to be like this. They thought their kid was gonna come out and, like, I don't know, be like my cousin who's the same age as me. We're like 7 weeks apart. She's younger, but like she's very, like, she's skinnier than me. She's shorter than me. She's prettier than me. She's smarter than me. She goes to Western. She is more athletic than me. She actually finished Mandarin school. Um, and, like, she listens to her mom. She doesn't talk back as much.
They say that to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, they can't say that she's more athletic than you if you were never put into sports.
Exactly. It's like bullshit. Like, now it's just like, for me, it's like everything they say is just bullshit because it goes in one ear, comes out the other. Because I obviously am not listening, and, like, right now I've learned to, like, live my own life and be my own person. Because right now it's just, I go to school and I live here. I don't spend all. I mean, now I've been spending all day here, but it's like, I've already made a plan, like, after I graduate I am moving out.
Yeah.
Like, we need to break off and be our own people and live our own lives. And I think that I've always felt trapped living with my parents, because it's like I am being yelled at every day for no reason. And I'm like, my head's being fucked up because of this. And so is my personality and my temper. Because I feel like we're both very hot-headed people. And sometimes when people, like, piss us off and we get angry, we have to, like, just, like, oh, and, like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
No, I feel like it's like it must be so hard to, not like, I guess, be treated as second best by both your parents. Like, cuz I felt that by one parent, and it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can't imagine, like, what you might go through, cuz, like, I already felt independent, or, like, forced to be more independent because, like, one parent didn't favorite me.
Mm-hmm.
So like to have two parents, like that's really unfortunate, and I'm sorry you had to go through that and like still go through it. That's so horrible. But yeah, I'm very like, I feel like I'm very like hot tempered towards like my family. But not to my friends, I don't think. I don't know. Like I try not to be. It's just like, I guess like with my family, I just have such like high expectations for them. So if they say something that doesn't really like align with my views, like I get really mad, but I'm like trying to like be better with that.
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's like for me, because it's like the whole like political view kind of thing. Like the last few weeks, I've just been like, they haven't even said anything, but like I know that like I think I just put this thought into my head. I was like, they don't agree with me politically. I'm just gonna shut them out and stop talking to them. And like that's my fault. Like I shouldn't do that. But like with there are certain political views that I know we don't agree on, and I know we're never gonna talk about.
Right.
And every time I think about that, because I know it's there, it just makes me angry. Even though like they haven't talked about it, but like I know how they feel, and it just makes me angry, and then I stop talking to them. And like I think that that's part of me like pushing them away, and I think that that's why we don't have the best relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But also because I've talked back to them my whole life because I don't take shit from nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, I think talking about politics with your parents, like no matter like what race you are, is like hard because they in a different generation, and they don't really understand it. Like my dad's like pretty educated on it. Like he always like reads the news every day, so he gets like what's happening, and he likes to talk about this stuff with me, and like he likes to listen. But my mom doesn't, because like I guess she had a bad experience with it, like with her dad and her brother.
Mm-hmm.
They were like fighting, and my grandpa was like, "Let me out of this car like right now," and open the door while it was moving, because they had a disagreement about politics. So my mom doesn't really like to talk about it, but I always bring it up at the dinner table, which is my bad. It's just like, it's what I read today, and I want to share it. But yeah, that resulted in another fight between me and my mom, which I apologize for, because I was, I shouldn't have acted like so rash and like say like, falling and stuff, because I know that's not how she is. But and then I also had like a fallout with my brother because we didn't align politically, but we do. He just doesn't express it in the same passion as I do, and like understanding, because he's more, I guess, like neutral, and he just doesn't voice his opinions, and like he likes to play the opposite side to kind of like get more information from me, if that makes sense. Like when people like argue the arguments.
Yeah.
Get more
rebuttal.
Yeah, to get like my perspective on that. So that made me mad. But like I just learned that like, I had to be. I know that that's not how they're not like they're not bigots. Like they don't really judge anyone or discriminate against anyone because of like their race. They just like they have like but they have, what's it called, like biases still. But they what my mom believes is like good apples and bad apples with each different race, but that's not really necessarily true.
That's interesting.
Yeah, especially because like I don't know, like I guess like she also believes like the ghetto, or like some people commit more crimes than other races, but then you say like there's
Yeah.
good apples and bad apples with each race. It doesn't really, like, it contradicts itself, you know? And she doesn't really want to put in the work to understand it, because she's like why does it matter? Like, I treat everyone the same, and it, like, this stuff is happening in the USA and not here. And I'm like, ugh, it's like so long for me to explain to you. And she's just like, stop talking about it. So I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore. And she gets mad.
Yeah. I remember the last episode, you were banned from talking about politics.
Yeah.
With your family. I know.
I mean, so I talk about it with my dad, so that's refreshing.
Yeah.
And with my brother recently.
Yeah. Just talk about what is expected of you compared to younger siblings. Expectations, obligations, responsibilities. I think we touched on those things.
Kind of.
My parents want me to be perfect, and my brother can get a 56 on his report card right now, and they won't scream at him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think here's one thing that I do want to talk about. I think that they spoil him more.
Mm-hmm.
Or they used to spoil me, but they spoil him with, like, you know, I guess normal family things like love and emotion. I just got spoiled with things like clothes.
Oh man.
That's the thing that Asian parents think solves everything, though. Do you notice that?
Like
money?
Yeah.
Buying them things?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guilty of it, but like,
yeah, it's like, oh, you should be grateful. Like, I'm giving you money. But
it's also like they don't want to say sorry, so they buy you like I don't know, a car. That's a bad example. That's a bad example. Like, I remember one time my parents got into a fight before my mom's birthday, and then on her birthday, my dad came home with a purse for her.
Wow. I mean, my parents are like, I mean, they're technically like, they don't love each other.
Okay, so. that's a lot. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, what was that question that you asked originally?
Oh, how we have defied traditional beliefs and roles.
Oh yeah, you should elaborate.
Talking back to my parents. I mean, not having a relationship with them. Not wanting marriage or kids currently, but I haven't told them that.
Yeah.
This is the scenario I've imagined. The day I move out, they help me move all my things into like an apartment or something downtown. And as they walk out of the door of my apartment, I go, by the way, I don't want to get married or have kids. Bye. See you next week.
Or you can just not tell them and then let them figure it out when you're old and you're not married and don't have kids.
Yeah. Well, it started to get annoying because when we go to like family functions or whatever, like the aunts and uncles will start asking now.
Oh.
Because it's like, and I'm like, they don't ask because they're like, you need to focus on school, but it's like other people ask.
Right. Oh, it's
about time.
I just tell them. Like, I was at my uncle's house the other day and we were talking about kids for some reason, and I was like, oh, I don't even know if I want to get married or have kids. And they were like, what? And we had a whole talk, and they're like, well, you don't know what you're going to feel in 10 years. And I'm like,
you're right, but
you're right, but I know that I'm never getting pregnant. So, and that's
period.
And they're like, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's my choice.
Yeah. It's like the uncles are always asking, like, when are you gonna bring a boyfriend to this family function? And like, that's hilarious. Haha. It's always like I'm focusing on school. I can't date right now. I need at least I would like a 4.0 average, and I can't do that if I have somebody. if I have a man?
I feel like for me, like to define the traditional norms or whatever, is like I'm more like my style is different, you know? Like I dress
Elaborate.
I used to dress like, well, I have like two different styles. Like sometimes I would dress like really like streetwear kind of stuff. And like my mom was like, why the fuck are you wearing that? Like that looks
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
She, like I was like really into fashion. So a lot of clothes like I actually get from her. And like as my style like evolves, like I still wear streetwear stuff, but like I like wearing like heels and like I like wearing like girly stuff too. Like I don't know. We got closer, but you know, she really did not like my style back in the day. And also I was just like more of like a tomboy like growing up. So
Yeah.
I understand that. And like I play sports obviously because like my dad's really into sports, my brother's really into sports, so like and like they put me in sports like when I was growing up, so I was just always really into sports, which is like I guess different than the expected like daughter, because like your daughter's supposed to be close with the mom and the dad's supposed to be like close with the son, right? I don't know, at least for like Asian families, like I never really bonded with my mom because like we had no similarities.
Yeah.
Have like fashion kind of. So those were like the main things, I think. Yeah. And then also like going to an art school, they were like, I mean, they were proud of me like for getting in. But they
they didn't understand it. Like that's what my parents did. They're like, oh, she's going to an art school. Like when we went to family functions, they wouldn't even mention it.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean,
I'm not even allowed to tell people that I switched from Ryerson, that I dropped out of Ryerson. I'm not allowed to say it, but I say it because I have no shame. No shame.
They said you're not allowed to say it.
Yeah. I still say I have no shame.
That's
shame.
Hard.
I'm in a better place now, and I don't have shame. I'm like, okay, I changed my mind, and people should be okay. I'm like, I went from something that was still good, but I didn't want to do, to something that is also good, but something that is, nice for me and like I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what? I didn't go straight in. Not everybody goes straight in. Like, so I took a year to figure it out. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing what is nice. Okay, just let me say it.
Yeah. I don't know, like once you like settle down, like have a career out of like doing what you like, I feel like then they'll come to an understanding that like
they will accept anything as long as you make money.
Yeah.
Have you seen all those like Asian actors? Like like Simu Liu and like who else, like Aquafina or whatever? They're like, when I wanted to go into acting, they were like, this is a bad idea. And then they had breakout roles and they started making a ton of money, and the parents were like, oh my god, we love your job, we told you this was a good idea or whatever. They say, as long as you make money, they're fine with it.
Yeah.
Like I know like one thing that like defied that traditional thing was like me choosing to go into like an arts program after high school. And then I immediately took that back. And for a year, they laughed in my face and said, I told you so. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And now I'm back into science, and like, it's fine, I guess. But I'm kidding, it's great. But what else? Like, I think they never expected me to be so like hot-headed. And I'm like, you two are the most hot-headed people ever. Why would you think that you would give birth to a calm child?
Yeah, I was always called stubborn.
Stubborn, rude, aggressive,
selfish,
misbehaving, disrespectful, you know, the usual words you would call a child, right?
Yeah, but then I like my mom would call me stubborn like during our 18 years of bad relationship stuff, and like
Mm-hmm.
my mother would use that as an insult, and I'm like, I'm not stubborn, I'm open-minded, like I will change my opinion if I'm wrong, if you give me proof that I'm wrong. And like they would say it in like the wrong context at times, and I would be like,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. So I wrote them a big paragraph over text, and I was like, I do not like you calling me stubborn, and this is why, this is how I feel, blah blah blah.
Wow.
And then yeah, and then they stopped calling me stubborn. So I was like,
They call us those things because when we talk to them about those things, it's like we are like so frustrated. It comes off as angry and aggressive, and they're like, "Oh, this person, they're stubborn, they're rude, they're being disrespectful, they're angry,
yeah,
they're mad."
especially because compare yeah, especially because they compare like us to other parents' kids, which obviously
Yeah,
you don't see the inside of their house. So you see them as being like the perfect kid who went to Harvard or something, who always obeyed their parents, blah 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 blah. You know?
I don't want to be a robot. I want to be a human being. I want to be my own person.
Imagining like my friend literally they had to study all like after school, before school, like with like a tutor outside of school. And so when they were in like grade 9, they were learning grade 12 stuff. And I'm like, why would you? And my parents made me do that once, and I literally like hated them for it. I was like, I'm not. So I would purposely do no work towards it because I thought that was unfair.
Yeah.
And the because I'm like, that's like not a life. Like, why? I feel so bad for the kids who like were made to do that. So ridiculous. The new
Tiger
kid.
parents.
Yeah, and also it's because like they grew up like that. Like in China, like they grew up when they were in kindergarten learning like higher grade stuff. So I guess like they expect the same from me, but
Yeah.
they eventually came to the realization that I was not going to be like that, and I was not like I wasn't going to like. I guess like one thing that my parents are always like, they always tell me that I aim too low, and I'm like,
Okay.
like they're like, you aim too low, like you need like higher goal, you need like more like bigger goals, and
Mm.
and I think like they didn't like fully accept like my career choice in like grade 10 and 11 and even like grade 12 until like because they're always worried about me getting a job, right? So like once I secure a job, they're like, oh, like maybe you will be fine. And they're like, Serena, you talk so much, it's actually good for you, you're making such good connections. So it's not until they see that you're going to be fine in the career field will they like, I guess, accept you.
Yeah. My mom said to me like a few weeks ago, she's like, "You love to talk. You should have gone into business." And I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
What would you
Yeah.
say the takeaway from should be? Because
Um,
we've had very different experiences. Like although some overlapping, I feel like our parental experiences was kind of different.
um, I think that people now understand what it's like to be a daughter in an Asian family, and for our perspective, the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had a not so great upbringing. So if I ever scream at you, I'm so sorry. Oh, like, yeah, mental health is not there. My anxiety, my upbringing is the reason why that exists.
Yeah.
What's your takeaway? I had to make it funny. So.
my takeaway is like, yeah, I feel like our parents like definitely had a big influence in our lives, and like I feel like one of the reasons why I'm always like, I don't know, like I don't know. I feel like there's still like a lot of stuff to unpack from like my childhood that I haven't yet.
Yeah.
Which definitely goes to my issues and my trauma.
Yeah, we need actual
With
therapy
like
for
my
that.
parents. Yeah, like my parents didn't like, they chose to stay together even though like they don't love each other, and
Yeah.
I had to tell them to get a divorce when I was in grade 3, and like
You did?
I told them to get a divorce in grade 3.
Wow.
Or it was grade 5. I told them again like a few years ago. Yeah, there's like just so much stuff that like I would like to think that I moved on from, but it still like bothers me.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like lack of communication is like, I feel like main reason for a lot of like uh built up anger, or
Yeah.
like just like bubbled up feelings. So I feel like that's one thing. If you are in a family, Asian family or whatever, work on your communication, swallow your pride, because that's really helped me build a better relationship with my family, and like less fights coming from my end is good for the family overall.
Yeah. I think both of our takeaways is that even though our upbringings weren't the best and our relationships with our families aren't the best, and we were still working on them, look at us now. We have personalities. We are independent. We are
Yeah.
fun and exciting. We're gonna be successful as fuck in the future. We are hardworking. Yes, independent women. And if you ever date us, just know that there's a lot of emotional baggage that we are still working on. So sorry. Okay, Serena, what a great episode. Very messy, but we'll work on the talking.
Yes, we will.
So if you want to see more, please like and subscribe to our channel. And if you want us to talk about a very specific topic, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And this is the end of this episode. Okay, bye everybody. Say bye, Serena.